Yeah, it really does. I mean, the material definitely makes a strong case for like the sheer scale of the toy crisis.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? We get this super vivid picture of people bulk buying meals just for the Chikawa toys, those wildly popular mascot characters.
Yeah, leaving full trays of abandoned food everywhere.
Exactly. Forcing the company to implement those strict digital purchase tickets through their app. But when we jump from that massive logistical nightmare directly to the burgers, the narrative gears just grind to a halt. Right. As I understand it from the notes, the argument here is that the chaos surrounding the toys is the direct catalyst for why McDonald's might stop letting people ask for double pickles and extra onions.
Yeah, that seems to be the point.
And the author spends a significant amount of time detailing the scalper chaos, which, is a fascinating dive into modern consumer behavior.
It really is.
But it fails to establish the connective tissue explaining exactly why a crackdown on plastic toys would logically lead to a ban on extra burger toppings. I mean, the reader is left wondering how digital app tickets for toys relate to getting double onions.
Well, I wonder if we've considered how easily this kind of omission happens to writers who are, deeply immersed in their subject matter.
Oh, for sure.
It's a classic manifestation of the curse of knowledge. The writer holds the entire operational map of the restaurant in their head,
Right, they see the whole picture.
Exactly. They see the entire ecosystem. They understand the invisible middle step, linking the lobby chaos to the kitchen rules. But they forgot to put that middle step on the page for the rest of us.
Yeah, which means the writer is leaping from point A, the happy set scalper crisis, all the way to point C, the end of free custom toppings, while completely skipping the physical reality of point B.
Yeah, so to fix this, I suggest bridging this gap by explicitly linking the operational strain of the toy crisis to a broader corporate mandate for kitchen efficiency.
Like explaining how managing that chaos physically drains resources?
Exactly. They need to explain that when a location is overwhelmed with intense crowd control and monitoring digital app tickets and dealing with aggressive resellers, the staff is stretched incredibly thin.
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because customization fundamentally breaks the standard assembly line rhythm.
Yes, exactly.
If I ask for no pickles or extra sauce, an employee actually has to stop, read a specialized screen, pull that specific burger off the main track, and manually alter it. And that kind of bespoke attention is mathematically impossible if 50 people are screaming about mascot toys in the lobby.
That is the exact mechanical reality the author needs to convey. By highlighting this physical exhaustion, it becomes entirely logical that labor-intensive custom orders become a natural target for corporate cuts.
Right.
Let me give a concrete example of how to execute this. Add a transitional sentence such as, the operational exhaustion caused by managing digital tickets and crowd control for toy launches has fundamentally shifted corporate priorities. To offset this strain, management may now view labor-intensive custom burger orders as an unaffordable luxury.
I love that, because right now, reading this feels like we're being told a bank is upgrading its vault security because of robbers, and therefore they might stop handing out free lollipops in the lobby. We need to know if the same manager made both decisions and why.
That is such a good analogy.
Thanks. But yeah, by injecting that transitional sentence, you're explaining that the security upgrade was so outrageously expensive and demanded so much staff attention that the budget for the lollipops was wiped out.
Yeah, it transforms a seemingly random correlation into a direct, undeniable causation. Once you explain that an overwhelmed kitchen staff literally does not have the seconds to spare to pause the line for custom orders,
while fighting off swarms of Chikalawa scalpers.
Right, exactly. The reader immediately buys into the premise.
Yeah, and once that internal operational logic is locked in, we have to look at how that information is structurally presented, because fixing the logic won't matter if we lose the reader's trust along the way.
That's a great point. The structural placement of the core premise, the end of customization, rests on an unverified rumor that weakens the authority of the piece's title.
Yeah, a key theme running through this material seems to be the tension between what is absolutely confirmed and what is merely speculative. I mean, the headline boldly claims 2026 ends that, referring to this era of a customization paradise.
Right, it sounds incredibly definitive.
Exactly. The opening paragraph echoes this highly definitive tone. The reader clicks on this expecting a hard news report about a finalized corporate policy.
But the text waits until the very end, buried under 6 paragraphs of verified historical facts about toy promotions and Ricari resale bans, to finally admit that the primary source for the July 2026 Dixerto report, is totally unconfirmed.
Which is super frustrating as a reader.
Yeah, hiding this caveat beneath a mountain of verified toy promotion facts makes the reader feel slightly misled when they finally reach the truth.
It's like you're essentially cashing a check at the end of the piece that the headline wrote, only for the reader to find out the funds haven't actually cleared yet.
Yes.
It damages that psychological contract. When a reader discovers in paragraph 7 that the entire premise of the article is actually just an emerging rumor, they retroactively question the integrity of everything they just spent 5 minutes reading.
Exactly. They start wondering what else was exaggerated.
Right.
So I suggest reframing the narrative early on. The author should present the piece from the very beginning as an investigation into a highly plausible rumor.
Oh, okay. So changing the framing entirely.
Yeah, instead of using the verified Mercari resale bans and the 4-set purchase limits as like a smokescreen to hide the unconfirmed report, use those verified facts as contextual evidence that proves why the rumor is likely true, rather than presenting the rumor as a confirmed fact.
That completely changes the vibe from clickbait to sharp analysis. You could introduce the Dixerto report right away by writing, "An unconfirmed report has sparked fears that the era of free double pickles is over." While not officially verified, McDonald's Japan's unprecedented 2026 crackdown on toy scalpers suggests this rumor should be taken very seriously.
That makes sense. But could the evidence also support a different conclusion? Like Z, for instance, could the customization rumor just be a misunderstanding of a localized test run? Acknowledging that possibility would make the author seem even more objective and reliable.
Oh, that's brilliant. Like maybe it's just happening at a few high-traffic restaurants in Tokyo?
Exactly. When a writer openly engages with alternative theories, they don't look like they are desperately trying to force a single narrative.
Right, they look like a detective examining all angles of a case, which builds an incredible amount of intellectual goodwill with the reader.
Yeah, we don't just want to be lectured at, you know? We want to feel like we're participating in an investigation. When the writer says, here is the rumor, here is the behavioral pattern that supports it, but here is also a potential alternative explanation, the reader feels respect.
And that intellectual goodwill is especially vital when you're writing about something as deeply personal as cultural identity. Because once the logic is sound and the evidence is framed honestly, the final step is to elevate the stakes for the reader.
Oh, definitely.
Expanding the scope to address the broader implications for Japan's celebrated customer service culture would elevate the piece from a simple fast food update to a compelling cultural commentary.
I completely agree. This is where we take the material from being just an informational menu update and turn it into a thesis that actually lingers in the reader's mind.
Yeah, so let's look closely at the section discussing Japan's legendary customer service culture. The author brings up this incredible point about how the free extra toppings hack was a beloved perk, the kind of small kindness that fit right into Japan's celebrated customer service culture.
Right, the omotenashi concept.
Exactly. But the weakness here is that the material treats this rich thematic vein as just a throwaway line. It glances at the concept of wholehearted hospitality and keeps walking, leaving the deeper cultural implications of this end of an era completely untapped.
It really is a missed opportunity. I suggest using this McDonald's policy shift as a microcosm for the changing labor and service dynamics across Japan.
How so?
Well, contrast the 2014 easygoing generosity of the original budget hack with the strict, app-regulated realities of 2026. Think about what that 2014 interaction represented. It was a human connection over a counter, right? A willingness to accommodate a personalized request as a point of pride.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And contrast that with 2026, where we're moving from a society that prides itself on going above and beyond to a system forced to implement military-grade logistics and strict digital boundaries just to survive consumer exploitation.
Exactly. It's a huge shift. So, to execute this, conclude by asking the reader a bigger question. You could write, if a corporate giant historically dedicated to extreme localization and hospitality is drawing hard line, it raises a critical question. Is Japan's broader service industry finally prioritizing operational survival over its famous customer is always right ethos?
I can see what you're going for here. But is there a risk that zooming out too far to macroeconomic labor trends might alienate the reader who just clicked to find out if they can still get extra Big Mac sauce? We need to be careful not to lose the fast food crowd.
Is the connection between A and B fully established in the material, or is that an area to potentially bolster? If we tie the cultural shift directly back to the physical experience of ordering that burger, it keeps the reader grounded while still offering them a more profound takeaway.
Aha, I see. So you don't abandon the burger, you just use it as the lens.
Exactly. Being denied double pickles isn't just a menu change. It's a tangible symptom of a modern societal shift, and leaning into the historical timeline the author already provided is the perfect way to build that bridge.
Yeah, the piece beautifully maps out the journey from 2014 to 2026.
Right. And by focusing on that 12-year gap, the writer can highlight how a quiet budget hack shared among friends devolved into a landscape of digital tickets and secondary market bans.
It really is a phenomenal submitted piece. It has such strong foundational bones.
Absolutely.
Let's briefly recap our three main takeaways from today's critique. First, structurally bridging the logical gap between the toy scalping crisis and the kitchen operations.
Yep, building that physical bridge.
Second, reframing the unconfirmed Dexterta report as an investigation early on rather than presenting it as a stated fact at the end to protect author credibility.
Right, setting that honest tone.
And third, elevating the cultural stakes by tying the new burger rules to Japan's shifting service industry.
Exactly.
To summarize the actionable suggestions, add transitional sentences explaining the operational strain on the kitchen staff, move the unconfirmed caveat to the opening paragraph, and conclude with a broader question about Japanese hospitality.
These changes will be incredible. I just want to say, the author possesses a truly impressive, deep knowledge of the 2014 to 2026 timeline and the intricacies of the Japanese fast food landscape. The research is undeniably there. It's simply a matter of arranging the evidence to maximize its impact.
We couldn't agree more. We warmly invite the listener to implement these revisions and submit their material back into the show for another critique. We'd love to see how this piece evolves. Until next time, keep refining and keep writing.